am a simple girl from a humble background. All my life, my dream was to settle down with a good job and start a family with someone who loves me. Back then, I never realized just how unlucky I could be. My dreams would be fulfilled, but just in parts. I did have a very successful career in landscaping. I graduated college as a star performer and started my own business very soon. I did have some backup from my parents, who did their best to support me. They weren't rich, but still managed to help me out with my business. Soon, with my skill, I began to make a name for myself. When my business was doing somewhat well, I met Tony through a dating site. He was very sweet and really funny. We clicked instantly, and I was in awe of his charisma. Sadly, I later realized that these two characteristics were all he had. Initially, we had a great relationship. He was working as an accountant and was earning decently. I even met his mom, Flora, who was an amazing woman. We pretty much never fought unless it was about money. In some way or the other, Tony always expected me to shell out more. He said, "You know, you should try spending a little more on us. You do earn a lot of money." Yes, I do make a decent living, but I'm not a millionaire, Tony. Plus, I have to send money to my parents since they invested in my business. Why do you even do that? You are their only child, so it's not like their money will go to someone else. Why are you being so pushy about this, Tony? We are happy the way we are. What seems to be the problem? Well, we can live a way better life with more money. Our living standards can be so high if you just contribute more. I don't send any money to my parents. You shouldn't either. That is ridiculous. What you do with your money is none of my business. Besides, we aren't married yet. When and if we do get married, I will think about it. It's not like I didn't want us to have a good life. I just felt that it was way too early to splurge. Besides, I needed to be at least engaged to him before I even thought of joining finances. Everyone I spoke to agreed with me. When I told Tony about everyone's reaction, he went quiet and didn't push the topic. However, our fights about money continued. In hindsight, I should have considered it a red flag. However, I was naive and didn't know any better. So when Tony proposed to me, I was over the moon. I said yes, and we began planning the wedding immediately. I always thought that now that we are engaged, we will have less trouble with our finances. However, things would get much worse. I was the one who ended up paying most of our wedding money. I wanted a simple wedding, but Tony said, "We will only get married once, Mia. Why not splurge a little? It'll be worth it, you know." I don't know, Tony. It's a lot of money. Actually, I don't think it's wise to spend so much on a single day. Don't be ridiculous, Mia. You can afford it, and I know that this will be a big day, and I want only the best for us. All right, I will think about it. Well, I didn't get much of a chance to think about it. Tony was actually actively involved in the planning and always ended up selecting the more expensive options. Even his own mother, Flora, decided to talk some sense into him. She said, "Tony, don't you think you are hogging the wedding? It's Mia's day too, and you are ignoring her input. That's not right." "She's fine with it, Mom. She knows it's for the best. We can't have a cheap wedding like you and Dad did." "There's nothing wrong with a cheap wedding, Tony. I think we are spending a little too much. It might get out of hand soon." She is right. What's more important is respecting and loving the person you are marrying. Mom, please don't give me advice. If your own advice had worked well, Dad wouldn't have divorced you. You might be satisfied with cheap things, but I am not. Flora burst into tears and excused herself. I was pretty mad on her behalf. I didn't know what had gotten into Tony. I calmed Flora and apologized for Tony's rudeness. I was getting very pissed off at my fiancé and decided to talk to him. However, he refused to admit his mistakes. We were extremely close to the wedding date and couldn't afford to postpone or cancel the wedding, so we went ahead with it. After our marriage, I was still hoping for things to improve. In the first year, we did have a great time together. Tony was super caring and loving towards me. I also had a great friend in Flora, and we regularly hung out together. Tony was still rude to her at times, but I scolded him and made him apologize. By the second year onwards, Tony changed completely. He started to spend a lot of money on luxury items and depleted our joint accounts. When we talked about the problem, he said, "Well, who cares if the money's gone? I've been telling you for ages that you need to put more money into our joint account. We have a good life, Tony. There is no need for me to give more money. I already put in way more money than you do." Yes, that's because you earn more. If you just stop sending your parents money and add some more into our joint accounts, we will not run out of money. Fine, I'll send more money, but only if you promise to budget your expenses. Tony had agreed with my condition at that time. However, as soon as I put in more money, he started to shop and splurge again. At the end of the month, I was taking money out of my personal savings to buy groceries. It was an intense and stressful situation. We were fighting every day, and nothing improved. One day, I sat him down and said, "Things cannot continue like this, Tony. I'm almost out of money from my personal accounts. I can't keep the family afloat like this. Like I said, you need to stop spending money on your parents. That way, we will have more money. What happens when I do that? You will spend all of it as well. You have no self-control. If money is so tight, why don't you get a second job? That will make things a lot easier." You must be kidding me right now. There is no way I'm taking another job because of your spending habits. Look, Mia, you either find a way to bring in more money or I will divorce you. This is my final decision. I initially thought that he was bluffing, but I had no way to know. Even if he wasn't bluffing, there was no way I would do his bidding. By then, I knew I had enough of Tony's behavior. This was not what I signed up for. My work life was also suffering due to the constant fighting at home. Even my friends were concerned about my state of mind. So this time, I didn't give in. I didn't care anymore. The next month, when I deposited my share of the money into our joint account, Tony blew his top. He started to curse me out. He said, "What the hell, Mia? I clearly told you to send more money. This will only help us last 2 weeks at max. I've sent you more than enough, Tony. Maybe if you stop spending so much on gaming gear and fancy watches, we will finally have enough money to get groceries. Don't tell me how to spend my money." No, I am not telling you how to spend your money. I'm asking you to stop depleting our joint money. This is my money too, and I will do what I want. Since you refuse to listen to me anymore, I am going to divorce you. I have the papers prepared. Just sign them. Fine then, I'll sign them. I don't want to deal with you anymore. I was done with Tony for a long time. I knew this was coming. No amount of conversation was enough to make him change his ways. He even refused to attend marriage counseling or get a financial advisor. So the next day, we got our lawyers and signed the divorce. By the end of the divorce, I was left with very little savings and got nothing in return. In my mind, I knew I needed revenge. In my quest for revenge, I had actually planned something recently. I got in touch with a girl from my college named Irina. She is super beautiful but had tons of financial problems. When she approached me trying to know about my divorce, I told her some stories about my ex-husband being rich. The conversation went, "Hey Mia, how are you?